Do you know the secrets behind making the perfect pancake every time? Well, we're going to learn today with Chef Bill Collins from chefbill.com. The perfect pancake, it's attainable?
It's attainable. I just need to know a few little secrets, and you can do it every time. And the recipe I've got today is a very simple recipe, but really this will work with any recipe that you have to want to put together, even if it's from a Bisquick mix, which isn't the worst thing in the world, or fresh ingredients. And in the case of this one, I've got, it calls for buttermilk in the recipe, but what I also did instead of using buttermilk is I just took some yogurt and thinned it out with a little milk.
What actually is it butter and milk? What is buttermilk?
No, it's milk that's been kind of soured. It's kind of, I'm not going to say milk that's been sitting around for a while, but you know
that's the less glamorous way to describe it.
It is a less glamorous way, and only grandmothers drink buttermilk. Actually, because my grandmother drank buttermilk, and I've never seen anybody do it since. But the advantage of getting yogurt instead of buttermilk is often if you buy buttermilk, you just use it for a recipe or two, and it will go bad in the fridge.
True.
Although you can buy dried buttermilk, but this works out quite well. So the couple things about pancakes, two things when you're mixing the batter together, is one of them is you want to add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients.
So not all at once.
Well, no, you can do it all at once, but icy. No, you don't want. You want to start with the ingredients separate, and then you mix them together.
So you mix all the wet, you mix all the dry, and then you mix them all together.
Exactly.
I never understood to this day why that is.
Well, one of the reasons is just to make sure everything is combined well, because with the dry ingredients, you've got just a bit of sugar, flour, and baking soda, and you want to make sure they're all combined instead of just being lumped in. You might have little pockets of them, because this is a batter where, as you see, I'm mixing it together, but we're not looking to have it completely combined and whipped together.
A little chunky.
It is. A little chunky is okay, and I'm actually going to just add a little bit more milk to this. I want it a little bit moister, and a few lumps in pancake batter is okay. So that's why you want to mix all the other ingredients together to make sure they're combined well.
So the lumps is just character, flavor, taste?
Character's flavor, and they'll pop out when you cook them, so you don't have to worry about lumps at all.
Now, I saw in that recipe a little bit of vanilla.
Yes. Again, it's a flavor, and it just gives these a nice balanced flavor.
Because sometimes pancakes just taste like flour, you know what I mean? A little doughy.
Well, that's it. A lot of times I've said that pancakes can be just a vessel for maple syrup. But if you give a nice flavor to it, they become an equal partner with the maple syrup.
And now we cook them.
Now we cook them. See, as you can see, there are a few little lumps in there, and a good technique.
That's how I pre-shake.
And
do I?
Yes, please do. And you can either go with spray or you can go with butter, whichever one you prefer. And I'm just going to reach down here. Now, how much do you put on there? It depends on the size pancakes you want. I like to go, yes?
Well, no, my question was about, do you do a tester pancake? Have you ever heard this theory of the tester pancake?
Yes, because there's something funny that happens with pancakes. And there's a rule of the road, I don't know how or why, is that the first pancake often turns out really funny. There's no rule.
Is there a reason for that?
There is, and I have no idea what it is. I think it might just be the pancake gods, but also it's a way of adjusting, make sure the griddle is the right temperature and making sure everything is heated well, because very often the first pancake can work out fine, but sometimes it doesn't.
See, it always pains me to throw away the first pancake, but my wife's always adamant that we throw away the first pancake because of the pancake rule.
Exactly, and it's just one of those funny rules. Now, I love blueberry pancakes, and what I like to do, though, I don't like to put them in the blueberries in the batter because it turns the batter blue. And while that's kind of fun when you're 3 years old, I don't think it really looks all that great.
It gets less and less appetizing as you age.
It does, yeah.
And these are frozen blueberries.
Yes, because since fresh ones aren't in season, go with the frozen ones, and by the time the heat has come through them, these will thaw out just perfectly.
So you don't need to de-thaw them?
No, don't have to. And if you do, that's fine also. So I'm just going to reach under here for a towel so I don't turn everything purpley. Now, how can you tell when it's time to turn the pancake?
Can I guess?
Yes.
Is it like, because when you make a burger, when the blood starts to come through up to the top is when I flip. Is it when you can start seeing the bubbles?
Well, there is no blood in a pancake, so I do like your burger analogy.
I've been making these wrong the whole time.
That could be it. No, but actually you're absolutely right. There are two things to look for. Is just a little bit of a bubbling is going to start, and since this is the first one, we'll be looking at that. But the second one is we're going to start to see some brown around the edges. Now, what happens, and that's actually, I do like your hamburger analogy,
well,
because yes, you do have the juices
see
come
things
up.
coming up, yeah.
But also with a hamburger, you also see it starting to really brown and start to rise up from the sides there. And so it's the same thing with the pancake. I know when it's not ready because that's not happening, but I will know in a moment when it is ready because I will see the browning. Now you're starting to see some little bubbles starting to come there, and so we're just going to let it sit. And another way,
would you say that you put all the fruit in, and like say you're doing strawberries, say you're doing chocolate chips, put them in after you mix everything together?
yes, chocolate chips you can put them in during it because those aren't going to, again, the word is bleed through with the flavor. Vegetables can bleed, fruit can bleed because strawberries would make it red and the blueberries would make them purple, and throw them together, who knows what color you would end up with. But something like chocolate chips, those would hold their shape and they wouldn't. Bananas, those could be good. If it's a very mushy banana, that might affect your texture a little bit.
Yeah, and it was like banana bread.
Exactly. So actually, that's another great analogy.
Wait a minute, banana bread pancakes. We could be onto something.
I think you are onto something. So now here's the big mystery, and it flips over very easily.
Nice.
And the first one works out quite well.
All right.
Now, since that went on a moment earlier, I'm going to let these sit for a little bit.
In the meantime, can we talk about maple syrup?
Yes. It's funny. People are very divided. Some people love the bottled ones like the Aunt Jemima or the store brand because that's the flavor many people grow up with. But if you get a chance, once you try the real maple syrup, you're never going to go back to the other because it's such a rich flavor. And also, we're so lucky being here in Western Mass. There's so many local maple syrup places. This one came from Hadley and the Hadley Sugar Shack, but there's so many other local places, and even throughout New England, northern New England, Vermont, even into Canada.
I wonder if local maple syrup is one of those things, when you eat honey, they say eat local honey, it's good for you. I wonder if it's the same for maple syrup. Probably not.
Well, I'm going to say yes just because I like the local folks.
Yeah.
And see, now, I did that one, that's why
That's okay. We're having fun here.
Exactly.
But it probably wasn't ready yet.
See, that's why we call this live television.
You know what I did? I put a lot of Pam spray on there.
Oh, no, this is operator error. I can't blame you for this one. And see,
there we go. Looking good, though.
Looking good.
Plate them up, little maple syrup. We have breakfast in no time.
Exactly. Now, here's another thing about pancakes, is that they're not on the bottom side cooking for as long as they are after you flip them over. Let me say that in English. Once you start with the first half, it's going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. Once you flip them over, just a minute or so.
So probably 80% of the work's done on one side.
Absolutely. So you don't have to worry about, again, checking them, because bubbles are certainly not going to form up because you've got the nice crust on the top.
You've seared it all in.
Absolutely. So now it's just a matter of sitting back and waiting. And especially when you start smelling the pancakes, you figure other things, Sunday morning, you've got maybe some bacon, the Sunday newspaper, some coffee. I wish this were a Sunday morning. We could just sit back and do that.
Well, in the meantime, we can make it feel as if it's a Sunday morning. Why don't we head to commercial break so that we can eat all these?
Perfect.
You tune in next week for even more Chef Secrets with Chef Bill. And if you want a copy of this recipe, head to mymassappeal.com later today. But until then, shall we?
I think we shall.